There is a secret buried so deep inside the fabric of reality that most people will live their entire lives without ever brushing against it. And the ones who do find it, the ones who stumble into this knowledge either by accident or by years of searching, they are never the same. But here is what makes this different from every other truth you have encountered. This one comes with a warning. Not a gentle suggestion, not a soft recommendation, a warning. Because what you are about to understand has the power to reshape everything: your circumstances, your relationships, your health, the very trajectory of your existence. And that power, like all real power, does not care about your intentions unless you care about them first. So before we go any further, before a single syllable of this knowledge settles into your awareness, you need to understand something. The universe is always listening. It is always responding. And it does not distinguish between what you create with love and what you create with selfishness, with manipulation, with the quiet cruelty of using others as stepping stones for your own elevation. It gives you exactly what you ask for, and then it gives the consequences every single time. Most people think power is something you take, something you accumulate, something you hold over others like a weapon. But the deepest truth about power, the one that ancient traditions guarded with their lives, is that real power is not something you wield, it is something you become. And what you become ripples outward into every corner of your existence with a precision that would stagger you if you could see it clearly. The knowledge contained in what follows is not theoretical. It is not philosophical entertainment. It is operational. It works. And because it works, it carries a weight that most people are not prepared for. Not because they are weak, but because they have never been told the full truth about how creation actually operates. You have been taught that the world happens to you, that circumstances arrive like weather, unpredictable and beyond your influence, that some people are lucky and others are not, that reality is fixed, solid, immovable. But what if everything you were taught was not just incomplete, but inverted? What if you are not the recipient of reality, but its architect? What if every thought you hold, every emotion you sustain, every word you speak is not a reaction to the world, but an instruction to it? This is where it begins. And this is where most people, if they are honest, start to feel uncomfortable. Because if you are creating your reality, then you are also responsible for it. All of it. The beauty and the wreckage, the abundance and the lack, the love and the loneliness. That responsibility is not a punishment. It is the doorway to everything you have ever wanted. But you have to walk through it with clean hands and a clear heart. Otherwise, the very mechanism that could set you free becomes the thing that binds you tighter than any chain ever could. Let that land for a moment. Breathe into it. Because this is not something to rush past. This is the foundation upon which everything else rests. In a quiet village along the edge of the sea, there once lived a woman who spent her evenings watching the waves. She was not watching them for beauty, though they were beautiful. She was watching them because she was searching for something she could not name. Every night, she would sit on the rocks as the tide came in, and she would feel this ache, this hollow space inside her chest, as though something essential had been removed from her life, and she could not remember what it was. She journaled about it endlessly, pages and pages filled with the same question written in different ways. Why do I feel so empty? Why does nothing ever change? Why am I always the one left standing alone while everyone else seems to find what they are looking for? She did not realize it, but every word she wrote was a command. Every question she asked was an instruction sent directly into the field of infinite possibility. And the universe, in its absolute faithfulness, answered her precisely. It gave her more emptiness, more stagnation, more solitude. Not because it was cruel, not because she deserved it, but because that was the frequency she was broadcasting. And the universe does not editorialize your requests. It does not say, well, she does not really mean that. Let me give her something better instead. It mirrors. It amplifies. It returns to you the exact energetic signature you put out, multiplied. This is the first principle you must understand. And you must understand it not just intellectually, but in your bones. Energy follows attention. Whatever you focus on expands. Not sometimes. Not when conditions are right. Always. It is as reliable as gravity, as consistent as the sunrise. Your attention is not passive observation, it is creative force. When you place your awareness on something, you are feeding it. You are giving it life. You are saying to the universe, more of this, please. And the universe says yes. It always says yes. It does not know the word no. It only knows resonance. If this is opening something in you right now, if you can feel even a small shift in how you understand your own creative power, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so we can continue this journey together. Think about what this means for the way you have been living. Think about where your attention has been resting, not where you want it to be, not where you tell people it is, where it actually lives when no one is watching, in the quiet hours, in the space between sleep and waking, in the moments when your guard is down and your habitual thoughts run on autopilot. That is where your real creative signal lives. That is the frequency the universe is reading. And it is responding to that signal right now, in this very moment, shaping the circumstances that will arrive in your life tomorrow, and next week, and next year. There was a man in that same village, an artist who painted with oils on canvas. For years, his work sat unseen in a small room above a bakery. No one came to look at it. No one asked about it. He would stare at the blank walls of galleries he could not enter and feel the familiar weight of invisibility pressing down on his shoulders. He told himself the story that the world did not appreciate real art, that the system was broken, that talent meant nothing without connections. And every time he told that story, he painted it deeper into his reality. The brushstrokes of his thoughts became the architecture of his experience. Rejection confirmed rejection. Invisibility bred more invisibility. The story became a prophecy that fulfilled itself with mechanical precision. But something shifted, not in his circumstances, in him. One morning he woke before dawn, and instead of reaching for the familiar narrative of struggle, he paused. He sat at the edge of his bed, and he noticed the light coming through the window. Just noticed it. The way it fell across the floor in long golden strips. The way dust particles floated through it like tiny worlds suspended in space. And for the first time in years, he felt something other than lack. He felt wonder. Just a flicker. Just a spark. But it was enough. Because that spark was a different frequency, a different signal, a different command sent into the field. He did not force it. He did not try to manufacture some artificial positivity or paste a smile over his pain. He simply allowed his attention to rest on something real and beautiful that already existed in his life. The light, the quiet, the fact that he could see at all. And from that tiny shift, something began to move. He started painting differently, not because he tried to, but because the energy flowing through him had changed. The colors were different. The compositions were different. There was a quality in the work that had not been there before, something alive and breathing and true. And people began to notice. Not because he marketed himself better or networked more aggressively, because the work itself carried a different vibration, and that vibration called to the people who were meant to receive it. This is how the law operates, not through force, not through manipulation, not through clever strategy or relentless hustle, through resonance, through alignment, through the quiet, persistent tuning of your inner state to match the reality you wish to inhabit. The outside world is not the cause of your experience. It is the reflection of it. Change the reflection by changing what stands before the mirror. Change what stands before the mirror by changing the frequency at which you vibrate. Change your frequency by changing where you place your attention and what emotions you allow to take root in your body. But here is where the warning becomes critical. Here is where this knowledge becomes dangerous, if it is held by the wrong intention. Everything I have just described works. It works for love, and it works for fear. It works for generosity, and it works for greed. It works for healing, and it works for harm. The universe does not have a moral filter. It is a mirror, and a mirror reflects whatever stands before it without judgment. If you stand before it with hatred in your heart and use these principles to manipulate, to control, to take from others what is not freely given, the mirror will still reflect. It will still amplify. It will still return to you what you sent out. But what returns will carry the full weight of what you created. And that weight, over time, becomes unbearable. This is not punishment. Let me be very clear about that. The universe does not punish. It does not sit in judgment waiting to strike you down for your misdeeds. What happens is far more precise and far more inescapable than punishment. What happens is resonance. You become what you create. The energy you send out does not just affect your external circumstances. It reshapes your internal landscape. It rewires your nervous system. It recalibrates your emotional baseline. It changes who you are at the deepest level. And if what you are sending out is manipulation, control, deception, or harm, then those frequencies do not just go out into the world and come back as difficult circumstances. They colonize your inner world. They become the lens through which you see everything. They become the prison you did not know you were building. I want to ask you something. When you heard about that artist, and the moment he stopped reaching for the old story and simply noticed the light, did something stir in you? Have you ever had a moment like that? A moment where you caught yourself broadcasting a frequency you did not actually want to live in? Tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear what that moment was for you. There was a merchant in an ancient city who discovered these principles through a teacher he met in the marketplace. The teacher spoke of vibration, of attention, of the creative power of sustained emotion. The merchant listened carefully, not with the ears of a student seeking wisdom, but with the ears of a strategist seeking advantage. He took what he learned and applied it with surgical precision. He used the power of focused intention to manipulate his competitors. He used the principle of emotional resonance to charm his way into partnerships that served only his interests. He used the law of attention to identify and exploit the vulnerabilities of others. And it worked. For a time, everything he touched turned to gold. His wealth grew, his influence expanded. His name was spoken with a mixture of admiration and fear throughout the trading routes. But the mirror was reflecting. The mirror is always reflecting. And what the merchant had sent out was not abundance. It was extraction. It was not creation. It was consumption. And slowly, so slowly, he did not notice at first. The same energy began consuming him from the inside. His sleep became restless. His relationships became transactional. He began to see threats everywhere because the world he had created was one built on threat. He could trust no one because he himself was not trustworthy. He could find peace nowhere because every environment he entered was charged with the frequency of manipulation he had been broadcasting for years. His fortune remained, but his capacity to enjoy it evaporated. He had everything and felt nothing. He had won every game and lost the only thing that mattered, his own inner coherence. This is the price. Not a punishment imposed from outside, but a natural consequence that unfolds from within. When you use the creative power of consciousness for harm, you do not just harm others, you fragment yourself. You split your own energy into competing frequencies. You create internal dissonance that no amount of external success can resolve. And that dissonance becomes the dominant signal you broadcast, attracting more fragmentation, more conflict, more of the very chaos you thought you were controlling. So the warning is not a threat. It is a description of how reality works. It is physics, not morality. It is cause and effect operating at the level of consciousness itself. And once you understand this, truly understand it, not as a concept, but as a felt reality in your body, you will never want to misuse this knowledge. Not because you are afraid of consequences, but because you will see clearly that harming others and harming yourself are not two different actions. They are the same action experienced from different angles. Now let us go deeper, because understanding the warning is only the beginning. The real question is, how do you use this knowledge in alignment with the highest expression of who you are? How do you create powerfully without creating destructively? How do you manifest what you desire without becoming enslaved by desire itself? The answer lives in a place most people overlook. It lives in the quality of your emotional state. Not your thoughts, not your affirmations, not the vision boards on your wall or the goals written in your journal. Your emotional state. The sustained feeling tone that hums beneath all your activities like a bass note in a symphony. That feeling tone is your true creative signal. It is the frequency the universe reads and responds to. And it cannot be faked. This is why so many people try these principles and conclude that they do not work. They say the right words. They think the right thoughts. They visualize the right outcomes. But underneath all of that, their emotional body is broadcasting something entirely different. Fear dressed up as confidence. Scarcity wearing the mask of abundance. Desperation pretending to be faith. And the universe, which reads energy, not words, responds to the real signal every time. If you are beginning to sense how deep this goes, how your emotional frequency is the true broadcast, shaping everything around you, then what we have touched on here is only the surface. There was a dancer in a great city who understood this intuitively, though it took him years of suffering to arrive at the understanding. Every day he practiced his art with ferocious dedication. His technique was impeccable. His discipline was legendary. But his performances were lifeless. Something essential was missing, and no amount of practice could supply it. Because what was missing was not skill, it was presence. It was the felt experience of joy and movement. He had become so consumed by the fear of failure that every gesture was a defense against judgment rather than an expression of truth. His body moved, but his spirit was locked in a cage of anxiety, and audiences felt it. They could not name what was wrong.
And maybe that is the real warning the universe is trying to give you. Knowledge is never the danger. Power is never the problem. The real question has always been the same. What kind of heart is holding that power? Because every piece of awareness you gain, every truth you uncover, amplifies what already exists inside you. If there is wisdom, it becomes greater wisdom. If there is compassion, it becomes greater compassion. But if there is ego, fear, or the desire to control others, that will grow too. The universe does not punish. It simply reflects. The energy you move through the world with eventually circles back to you, sometimes slowly, sometimes instantly, but always precisely. So if you have found this knowledge, if these ideas resonate with something deep inside you, then perhaps the universe isn't just giving you information. Perhaps it is giving you responsibility. A responsibility to use awareness to elevate, not manipulate. To illuminate, not dominate. To help consciousness expand, not collapse into fear. Because the people who understand reality the most carry the greatest obligation to protect it. And maybe that's the final message hidden inside this warning. The universe does not fear powerful minds. It only waits to see whether those minds choose wisdom over power. So the real question isn't whether you will gain knowledge. The real question is simple. When power finally arrives in your hands, what kind of human being will you choose to become?